We may have made peace with the fact that the rivalry between animals is unlikely to die, but from time to time they like to surprise us by offering some tender loving care to one another. What's even more surprising is that even the most aggressive predators can help out their prey. This probably leaves you wondering if a baboon can save an impala from the sharp claws of a cheetah, or if a lioness can defend a wildebeest calf, then what more can they do? Well, let's find out. On what seemed to be just another day in the wild savanna, a cheetah had set its eyes on a herd of impalas and was convinced that it would catch at least one of them. Sure enough, after a good run, it managed to catch an impala. The cheetah was well on its way to delivering its final killing bite, but what it didn't know was that the baboons resting on the trees were not going to let that happen. The baboon got down from the tree and chased the cheetah away from its prey. It didn't even try to defend itself, but instead ran for its life. One baboon was left behind checking if the impala was still alive. Moments later, the seemingly lifeless antelope got up on its feet and leapt away. This poor wildebeest calf came across its worst nightmare at a very young age. At first, it can be seen peacefully walking without any care in the world, but things get ugly pretty fast when a lioness sneaks up from behind it. As a wildebeest, its fate was already sealed the day it was born, so it was no surprise that it was being hunted by a lioness. As expected, the lioness eventually caught up with it, but instead of eating it, the lioness decided to bond with it. Another lioness saw its fellow playing with food and decided to try its luck. It was ready to sink its sharp teeth and claws into the calf, but the unthinkable happened. The other lioness wasn't going to allow it, and furiously protected the calf, leaving the second lioness stunned. It just couldn't understand what had gotten into its fellow. Why would it protect such a juicy meal? This little bird was on the verge of drowning when an orangutan took compassion on it and came to its rescue. At first, the orangutan tried to hand it a leaf for it to climb onto so that it could pull itself out, but when that failed, the orangutan stretched out a little further and gently pulled the bird out using its forelimb. Once it was on land, the orangutan continued to give it aftercare to make sure that it was okay. Another bird that was lucky enough to get some help is this blue crow. It was struggling to get out of the water and was almost drowning. The grizzly bear saw it struggle and made it its mission to save the bird. It stretched out as far as it could and pulled the crow out of the water. It wasn't as gentle as the orangutan, but that's okay. Once the mission was accomplished, the bear went about its business as if nothing had happened. Although grizzlies are omnivores, this one would rather eat the carrots than the crow. Turtles are most vulnerable when they are upside down. This mostly happens when they are fighting amongst themselves. The one that loses usually finds itself on its back. To get back onto its feet, literally, they might need a little extra help. And being a nice turtle, this other turtle couldn't just watch its pal remain in that helpless state, so it flipped it. And immediately the turtle got back up. It wasted no time and walked away. The other was left there perhaps waiting for, a thank you. This cute little elephant calf was struggling to get out of this muddy water hole. Its little legs were too short and the slippery side was not making it any easier for it to get out. Seeing that the young one was seriously in need of help, 2 adult elephants teamed up and came to its rescue. Within no time, they were able to lift it using their trunks, and they went all on their happy way. Now that is the true definition of teamwork. This generous black swan helped feed the fish by sharing some of its food. Now we can look past the fact that it was eating most of the food before rinsing its mouth in the water because, well, after all, it is the thought that counts. This baby raccoon couldn't get to the other side of the wall due to its little legs and little experience in this kind of situation. Not to worry though, because the other raccoons were not about to leave without it. One leaned against the wall to help the baby raccoon up, and the other held it so that it didn't fall. This raccoon family leaves no one behind. The curiosity of this cat almost got it killed when it got its head stuck in a polythene bag. The cat became confused and it would take a little while to get itself out of the bag. Now, in a normal world, this dog would have been having a field day because, as we know, cats and dogs don't always see eye to eye, and their historical rivalry never seems to grow old. But in this special case, without any hesitation, the dog removed the plastic bag from the cat's head and saved it from suffocation. Like most bear cubs, this polar bear cub was fooling around and ended up accidentally falling into a pool of water. Although polar bears know how to swim, The water can be a little too much for an inexperienced cub, or one that didn't want to get its fuzzy coat wet. Luckily, Mama Bear was around and immediately sprang into action and saved her little cub. Hyenas, though they may be scavengers, but in certain situations, they can decide to take matters into their own hands and kill the prey for themselves. They will mostly go for the lonely ones, or in this case, the weak. Although lions can defend themselves, a weak lion is as good as dead, and these hyenas knew that. However, their plan ended before it could even start because they were quickly interrupted by a huge elephant charging at them. Knowing that they are no match for the world's largest land animal, the hyenas are forced to take to their heels, and the lion is safe for now. If you ever doubted the intelligence of a dog, here is something that will help you clear your doubt. One dog was stuck in a pool with no way out. Another dog offered to help by doing one of the smartest moves. Instead of risking both of their lives, the German Shepherd handed over a rope to the stranded dog and successfully pulled it out of the pool. And as a thank you, it got plenty of kisses and licks. While buffaloes are often considered to be mean and aggressive, this one seems to be cut from a different cloth. It was determined to help the turtle and went as far as getting on its knees just to help the turtle get back onto its feet. How sweet. The onlookers couldn't help but be in awe. Now check out this heroic moment when hippos decided to save a wildebeest from the mouth of a vicious crocodile. The herd of wildebeest was quenching their thirst at the waterhole when one of them found itself caught between the sharp teeth of a crocodile. The crocodile pulled it into the deep waters where it was hoping to drown it. But the hippos that had borne witness to this ordeal were not pleased at all. So the hippos decided to take matters into their own hands and attacked the crocodile until it let go of the wildebeest. They even went a step further to ensure that the wildebeest got to land safely. Although it got out of the water looking a little shaken and injured, thanks to these chubby creatures, it got to live to fight another day. Take a look at this dog trying to revive a fish that has been washed up ashore. It kept digging through the sandy beach so that more water could flow towards the fish and hopefully resuscitate it. It's pretty amazing how this dog was smart enough to know that a fish needs water in order to survive. Today's video just goes to show that animals are more compassionate than we probably care to admit.